The real reason why your money is reducing every day. This is the naira we're talking about. Oh. The real reason naira is reducing every day. Who is writing this and what is the reason? Is uh, businesslifeafrica.com. Why? We know now we are consuming more than we're producing, we're not exporting, we're buying and borrowing. That is it. There's practically nothing we're doing here. The oil that we're depending on is also not even enough anymore. That is all. Is our money actually reducing, or yeah, it's reducing anyway, but apart from reducing in value, the people are still stealing without effective economic policies, or rather productivity to increase IGR that you know, there's nothing they're doing. Import-export ratio is still high. We're importing more than we're exporting. So how can we generate the dollar when we're not selling anything? We are just buying and borrowing. That is it. Have you noticed that no matter how hard you try to save, your money just doesn't seem to go as far as it used to go? Maybe you planned to buy something a few months ago, but now it costs double or even triple. So if this feels familiar, you are not alone. The culprit is something called inflation. Let's dive into what this means, why it is happening in Nigeria, and how it affects you and I. So what is inflation? Inflation happens when the prices of goods and services increase over time. Now, while the value of money remains the same or even decreases, think of it this way. If you could buy a loaf of bread for 500 naira last year, but today it is costing 800 naira, your money has lost some of its purchasing power. So it is like having a balloon full of air, your money, but with a slow leak. Over time, the balloon deflates, and what you can do with it keeps shrinking, and that is the value actually. So why is inflation so high in Nigeria? Now there are a few reasons why inflation is hitting Nigeria particularly hard. One is exchange rate. Nigeria imports a lot of goods, from food to clothing to fuel. To buy these items, businesses need foreign currency like the US dollar. So when the exchange rate becomes unstable, say the naira loses value compared to the dollar, it costs more naira to buy the same amount of goods or items. For example, if a hair product costs 1,000 naira when $1 was 500 naira, it might now cost 5,000 naira now that when $1 is equal to 1,000 naira. The second reason our naira is losing value is fuel prices. Fuel is essential for transportation and powering businesses. With fuel prices rising sharply, transportation costs go up, which then affects the price of everything else. A bag of rice doesn't just magically appear in the market, it is transported there, and the cost of that journey is added to the final price of the rice. So another one again is power supply issues. Nigeria's electricity challenges are another major factor. So when manufacturers and businesses can't rely on steady power, they have to spend more on generators and fuel to run them, and fuel to run the generators. So this additional cost is passed on to you, the consumer, and that is true. Number 4 is low local production. So even though Nigerians are hardworking and creative, many raw materials and finished products are imported. For example, fabrics, electronics, and even some food items come from abroad. So without enough locally produced goods to balance demand, prices keep climbing. So how does it affect your everyday life? That is the next question. Inflation affects every aspect of daily life, Um, Here are some of them. Cost of living, food, rent, transportation, and other necessities become more expensive. Many people are now eating less or skipping meals altogether because they can't afford 3 square meals daily. Savings. So if you save money without investing it wisely, the value of those savings decreases over time. For instance, 100,000 saved tonight might only be 50,000 naira. Might only buy 50,000 naira what last year. Can you imagine? Okay, for instance, 100,000 naira saved today might only buy what 50,000 could buy last year. So budgeting becomes a nightmare because prices are unpredictable. So what you budgeted for groceries last month might not cover half of your needs this month because of again inflation. So what can you do to cope? Living in times of high inflation is tough, but there are strategies to help you manage. One, spending wisely. Can you imagine? Spending wisely. You must solve your problem now before you talk about spending wisely. Generally, you must use what you call skill of preference that we used to do in economics in those days. So spending wisely. If you need to make a significant purchase and can afford it now, consider buying it sooner rather than later. Waiting could mean paying much more later. Then buying in groups. So pooling resources with friends or family to buy in bulk can save you money. For instance, you can buy a bag of rice together and share it, split the cost. And in foreign currency. Exactly. This is what I want. So if possible, explore opportunities to earn in stronger currencies like the dollar. Remote jobs or freelance work for international companies can provide a financial buffer against inflation. I like that. I like this part of it. Invest in assets. Rather than letting your money sit idle in a savings account, consider investing in assets that grow in value over time, like real estate, gold, or stocks. Now, like stocks can die. Stocks can die. So this guy just came to discuss inflation and how to live in hard times like this. He had just told us what inflation is, what is the cost, what can be done about it, and how it affects you, and what you can do now to live with it and still have edge over life. That's a very good write-up, very good advice. So now that you've heard, you need to make adjust, spending wisely, investing your money, not saving it, working and trying to earn in hard currency if you can by working for foreign businesses. If you can do that, that will be very fine. So thank you for listening and let's have your comments.